It gives
In
me
fact,
immense pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of Government College for Women Parade Ground Jammu, Government College Dhami, 16 Mile Shimla, Himachal Pradesh, and Cape Comorin Trust, India, to the second day International Faculty Development Program on Ethics in Research and Teaching. Dear participants, today again we will have three sessions for the day by resource persons from India and outside India. But before I introduce you with the resource persons for the first session, I would like to formally welcome our chief guest for the day, Dr. S.K. Bhatia, and the resource persons for the sessions, Dr. Gul Erkol Bairam, Dr. Darshana Samarevara, and Dr. Mamta Mokta. Dr. Santosh Kumar Bhatia is an
Hello,
eminent
hello, hello, hello,
professor of English at Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. He has a teaching and research experience of more than 45 years and holds various administrative positions. He is a recipient of many awards and honors nationally and internationally. Dr. Bhatia has 25 research papers and more than 13 books to his credit. My God, a big number. Last but not the least, he is also a member of NAC Peer Team Bangalore. Sir, it is our privilege to have you with us today. I would request you, sir, to address the participants with your insightful perspective on ethics in research and teaching. I also make a humble submission to the participants to mute their mics so that there is no disturbance to sir's address. Over to you, sir.
thank you very much, Shivani ji. Nice of you. You see, I am at the outset very grateful to Government College Dhami, Government College Parade Jammu, as well as the Cape Comorin Trust Tamil Nadu for organizing this wonderful webinar. In fact, I was excited a few days ago when I got a call from Madam Principal Lalita for this function. I wish I could interact with participants physically, face to face, because frankly, I'm uh, a chalk and talk type of teacher. I am not happy talking to you on the webcams. I would like to be with you physically amongst you and sharing my views. Anyhow, but in view of the pandemic, we are all constrained to interact in this manner. But nevertheless, very happy to be joining in at this occasion. Well, you see, I'm very happy to see the subject of the webinar, Ethics in Research and Teaching. Frankly, this is not a new subject. This is a subject that probably has always been there. I thought I could probably modify it a bit by adding a few words and say, in the context of present times, perhaps it would be better to say lack of ethics in research and teaching, or absence of ethics, because what I find is that there has been a decline. There has been a terrible decline so far as professional ethics and etiquettes are concerned in both research as well as teaching. I will focus more on the teaching aspect because that's something which most of you in colleges perhaps concentrate upon. Um, you see, teaching, I guess, is a profession which one should come into by choice and not by chance. If you are into teaching by choice, that would reflect your real passion for teaching. But if you come into by chance, you never perhaps wanted to be a teacher, and since you could not be elsewhere, you rolled into teaching by chance, then I'm sure things might work out different. Since I am one who chose to be a teacher deliberately, and I have been into teaching, as told by Shivani ji, for as many as 45 years. So I know that ins and outs of teaching. You know, the so far as the ethics of teaching as a profession are concerned, they are not unknown to anyone. You see, you as professional teachers, you know, but somehow or the other, the question is to practice all that we know. Unfortunately, many of us forget to practice things that we need to, that we need not just preach, you see. And that's something which must reflect into our behavior, into our teaching. You know, starting with the very basic thing, sometimes I wonder why people are so casual, because it is one of the, I think, most serious and most sacred professions. One should take teaching very seriously. Not only that, you need to put in some kind of a preparation for your classroom lectures every day. You know, I know that even after long years of teaching, I would never go to a class without perhaps sitting down, reflecting for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour on what I am going to do in the class that day, for an hour or 45 minutes, whatever the time. I think we need to perhaps organize ourselves, our lectures. And the second most important thing is that professional ethics include that we must, as teachers, keep in mind our audience, that is specifically the students. Not only the students, but the level of the students as well. And so far as the level of students is concerned, there may be various levels in the classroom. You have to address the student perhaps sitting at the last bench. You see, you have to keep in mind that your volume, your voice, your communication, everything is intelligible. More than everything else, what I have felt as a teacher is that while teaching, make it sure that your students enjoy your teaching. You know, the joy of teaching on both sides, the joy of receiving or hearing what a teacher is saying, and the joy that you feel in giving your best to the audience, to the students in front of you, that must be fulfilling. You see, I think even more important at times is not only the bookish knowledge that you give. Knowledge is there in books. In fact, I am surprised to see teachers saying today that you can go and check it on the Google. You know, things are there. Libraries are there. Google is there. You know, there are storehouses of knowledge. What is the role of the teacher then? What is our role as teachers vis-a-vis our students or the audience? You see, we are there to facilitate. We are there to facilitate things. We are there to let the students feel that whatever we are telling is reaching out to them. They are able to grasp, they are able to get it. I remember, for example, in the beginning of my career, and I was a very strict teacher, I would, you know, say my class would start at 9 and I would be there on time and shut the door. Now, nobody dare knock the door. If you were late, you stay out. You are not allowed to come in, you see. Now, later on, I also realized that a few students who were left out of my class because of coming late, they pleaded with me. And I said, sorry, I cannot repeat. It's not a tape which I can replay. You see, whatever I said in the class, you can either gather for your classmates or I'm sorry, even I can't repeat all that. You see, you are a different person when you are in the classroom, and you have so many things which are not said by rote, which are not there even in writing, which are there in your mind, in your brain. You share it with students. It's not only the book in front of you, it is life's experiences that you connect and reconnect, you see, through those pages in the books. And frankly, as a student of literature, I always felt that life and literature are so closely interconnected. You cannot simply pass on knowledge. You have to take care that the knowledge that you are sending across is somehow connected with life's experiences. Now, this is very important. And secondly, you have to probably lead by example. You have to you have to see that your professional ethics and values are being silently conveyed to the students. They are reaching them. Don't forget that when you are in the class as a teacher, or you are in front of 40, 50, 60, 80 students, twice the number of eyes are watching you. They are watching you. They're watching your performance. They're watching not only your dress, your demeanor, your etiquettes, your manners, your movements, your actions, everything. You are exposed, completely exposed to those 100 or 120, 150 eyes that are watching you. You see? So all that is required of a teacher is that, number one, you must be a good, you must somehow present yourself well. You must be aware that whatever is being said is being grasped. You see, not that you sing your songs to your lute and you go away. Nobody knows what you have said. I remember a very senior teacher once saying that that uh, I don't I don't care who is in the class and who is outside the class, because those who are outside the class have nothing to lose, and those who are inside the class have nothing to gain. Now, I wonder what kind of a teacher is this? What kind of teaching is this? I would probably make it sure that those who are not in the class stand to lose something, and they will not be able to get it either from the Google or from any other source. So you see, this is what is required of a teacher. This is what is required of a teacher today. You see, let me in fact underline what I am saying, that the joy of teaching, the ability to be able to understand that you are being understood, that you are being received, well received. How you can see all this through their eyes. Everything is visible to you. If you look into their eyes, you can surely make out that you are being well received. So I think, having said all this about teaching, let me just sum up by saying that we all need to be honest. We all need to have integrity as teachers. We all need to be good motivators. You know, teachers must motivate students, because don't forget that teaching is perhaps the mother of all other professions. A good teacher can motivate others. Let them go into any profession, but they will be inspired by the amount of motivation that we have been able to do. I'm very happy. I'm sure the time allotted to me, perhaps I have overstepped, but nevertheless, the subject you have given perhaps cannot be summarized in such a short time. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us with such a scintillating views. I make you sure, sir, that definitely I'll keep it in mind that I reach to my students and help them to enjoy my teaching. And I'm really well received, sir. Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
my
sir,
dear.
once again.
Thank you
It's
so
time
much.
to begin with the first session for the day. And we have with us Dr. Bairam, the resource person for the first technical session. Dr. Gul Errokul Byron is an associate professor, Department of Tour Guiding, School of Tourism and Hotel Management, Sinop University, Turkey. Some of her research interests are tourism management, organizational behavior, tourism planning, and policy. She holds administrative positions such as head of the department tour guiding, coordinator, Mevlana Exchange Student and Lecturer Program, and coordinator, Department of Disabled Students. She has a teaching experience of more than 13 years. Dr. Gul has authored more than 13 books, edited more than 5 books, and wrote 23 research articles. Dr. Gul's uh, deliberations would be on changing dynamics of tour guiding education on New World. Madam, we all are very excited to hear from you on such interesting topic. Over to you, ma'am.
Many gratitudes, dear mom, for their kind words. I am so inspired, my dear professor's speech also. Firstly, I would like to thanks all members of these events and all participants in here today. I am so happy and I am so honored to be a part of this event. I would like to share my presentation firstly before I start my speech. Yes. Can you share? Sorry, can you see my presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today I would like to mention about my spatial areas is tour guiding. Because I think this is an important issue in the tourism industry. But as you know, after the COVID-19, everything has changed. By the way, one of them is tour guiding. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. The ma'am also very well mentioned about me. I would like to say that I'm also a professional tour guide for 10 years. Firstly, in the book entitled Maybe You Know the Future Shock by Alvin Toffler, he states for the future shock term as the certain psychological state of individuals and entire societies. This means that too much change in a very little time. Maybe it can be true because all tourism and travel industry is in a future shock. Not long ago, and even in some countries, all country borders are seals, cities are at standstill, and flights are grounded. Cruise ships are docked at harbors. Trains are stationed. Buses are not playing, and hotels and all tourism managements are shut down. Social distancing has become the new mantra, and also masks and gloves are the new safety tools, and no one is even thinking of a holiday. The majority of population across the world is seriously affected by COVID-19, and people are under lockdown situation still. Business activities are suspended in most of the countries in order to stop and minimize the contamination. Air transport services are suspended unprecedentedly. As of April 2020, 96% of the worldwide places introduced travel restrictions due to the coronavirus. COVID-19 is more contagious than any other disease occurred before. Everyone has mentioned about COVID-19 that this is a very difficult war that have ever before. There are millions of livelihoods are at risk and threatens to all back progress made in advancing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The World Tourism and Travel predicts potential jobs of COVID-19 to the global travel and tourism sector. Up to 5 million jobs are at risk globally. And now the tourism sector is in the fourth month of complete shutdown. Entire country lockdowns, border closures, travel restrictions, suspensions of almost all passengers, and all hotels closed, restaurants also closed, and this has resulted in unprecedented crisis in this sector, directed and undirectedly. One of the hardest hit profession in the tourism is that tour guide jobs. Tour guides are particularly vulnerable not only because of the seasonality of their profession, but also the majority of guides are self-employed. We haven't any regular salary. We are freelance. So single person business, and also it is find more difficult to access government funding and support. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, some 50 million jobs in travel and tourism may be at risk due to the pandemic, with museums, monuments, attractions all closed and governmental restrictions placed on travel across the globe. So tour guides are likely to be one major casualty of this sharp and sudden industry downturn. Most tour guides are freelance, hourly workers whose livelihoods depend not only on regular work, but also on tips from appreciative tourists. They are unlikely to have paid sick leave, unemployment insurance, or any other benefits enjoyed many salaries workers. Moreover, many tour guides canceled their bookings during this time because all tourists have a very big fear for going abroad. We understand that tour guides are very anxious about their health, about their clients' health, and about their family, because they have no income during these times and the impact of the coronavirus on their livelihood. Tour guiding education also is so vulnerable during this time because of students' thoughts and attitudes during this time. To tour guiding jobs is so unseenable in the future. Now we can have a look at tour guiding education, I think. Yes. Firstly, before we want to look at the education, we should maybe mention about some recovery plan during COVID-19, because tour guides should should their program and should comply to COVID-19. Maybe during this time, virtual tours may be more popular during this time. Turning tours into home seminars or virtual tours. Firstly, as the COVID-19 outbreak continues to cause challenges to the global tourism industry, it is time to think creatively about new and innovative ways of working to bring in revenue for tour and activity operators. Live and virtual tours, while may not work for anyone business, is a work around you consider during the pandemic also. Consider that a live virtual tour a new product opportunity for tourism industry. Show off your experience virtually to people who may have planned to travel but may be isolated. People will be looking for online content to consume over this period, so you might pick up new audiences who in future years may be your physical guest. If you and your guides are in a position to still guide people through your experiences via a live video or size the opportunity, I think. The second popular trend is personalization for tour guiding. Since the group tours have decreased by 80% and the number of people in groups dropped by half, personalized tour may be popular during this time. To identify briefly, personalized tour is based on the needs and requests of the tourists, but personally. According to the touristic demands, tours and required equipment are organized, such as special vehicle and driver, disposable products, and skilled tour guides. As a sample, if tourists wish to be intertwined with nature, an eco-tour is designed. Or if tourists want to see to religious places, your guides can be religious guides. That's why personalized tour will shine. The third trend is new destination will be formed, especially rural areas and some places that have very rare people. Tourism places after COVID-19 will take a different course. Visiting popular places that many tourists visit will be greatly reduced. Instead, unprecedented, little-known places that can host few people will come to the fore. Also, touristic places where nature tourism can be realized will be defined as new touristic places. It is thought that especially nature-based tourism will be developed outside the crowded tourist areas of India, for example. Tour guides should prepare the unknown places with less people, very less people, but more relaxing and more peaceful. Yes, tours based on special interests like ecotourism, gastronomy, golf, yachts, diving, culture, bird watching, caravans, villages, tents, caves, and other alternative tourism types rather than sea, sun and sand tourism will be preferred all around the world. So, expert tour guides, for example, gastronomy tour guides, eco tour guides, city tour guides, museum tour guides in some areas will be more preferable. Companies called incoming agencies, which will accommodate foreign tourists, will turn their targets to our immediate neighbors. Yes, local tours will be or should be more popular because there are many restrictions also. Domestic tourism involves resident traveling within the country. An example of domestic tourism would be South Indians visiting to Taj Mahal or Chinese visiting the Great Wall. Since the domestic tourists don't cross any other international borders, they don't need a visa or passport. Neither do they need to convert their money into a different currency. Many people visit different parts of their country during holidays. Domestic tourism has greater scope in countries of large dimensions, such as India or US, as compared to smaller countries. The duration of the tours may also vary, but domestic tourists may only spend 1 or few days en tour. Tourism may look inwards. Thankfully, traditional domestic travel destinations have remained largely inert to the virus. So much of the honeymoon or holiday traffic may stay within the India. Yes, time for VIP tours for the road trips. VIP tours are offered per special guest and doing by the years. But during this time, especially after pandemics, VIP tours is very popular. Because these tours are personalized and usually have a very limited number of guests. Tours consisting of frequency or family members only moves according to the expectations and requests of this group. The tools are very luxury and comfortable. Directory has expected more information and hardware. If the guests want information about archaeology, art history, nature, local culture, and city tourism, which are the museums. Families and youngsters are likely to prefer more of dry arts, especially on long weekends and short vacations. So, near city travel is likely to see an uptick. Tours may be based on outdoor activities. The lockdown and the prolonged stay indoors has helped most people introspect. So, cycling, sailing, walking tours, hiking, fishing, and lots of the simple pleasures may surface as reasons to holiday differently. Healthy farms, spas, nature villages, etc. are new opportunities for those in travel business. Yes, tourists will have more choice or more flexibility because pandemics. Airlines and hotels are likely to be more accommodating on postponements, cancellation and early check-ins, late checkout, especially for loyalty customers. So, upgrades, extras, free buys will be welcome surprises at many places that had forgotten the true meaning of the hospitality. Maybe everyone in this meeting can know at least a little information about the social media importance, and also the tour guiding profession has gaining importance by the social media channels. In today's tech-oriented world, using social media to promote your tours goes a long way. Is especially when you know that your competition is devoting all their energy and resources on social media marketing, publishing new content, making new videos, content curating, and etc. Social networks know that users value an informative, engaging, and visually stimulating experience. Status updates that show you are active in your community, combined with visuals that create a feel for your brand, complement each other perfectly. They give people an idea of what you are all about. Since your business is a tour or activity, there is an opportunity to be more visual than many other businesses. Take advantage of it. Yes. Nature is the winner of this event, I think. In all likelihood, nature and wildlife will be preferred over the monuments and history in the months ahead. So the hills and the seashores, wildlife reserves, and slightly isolated locations will win over crowded favorite yours. If tourists opt for destinations in nature, this will not be surprising, as this form of tourism will allow them to put together social distancing and discovery and contact with nature, which in recent weeks many travelers have been unable to benefit from. Yes, who is tour guide? Tour guides in generally guides visitors in the language of their choice and interprets the cultural and natural of an area, which person normally possesses an area-specific qualification, usually issued or recognized by the appropriate authority. Also, tour guide is a profession who provides assistance on information, culture, historical, contemporary heritage to people on religious and historical sites such as museums and at various venues of touristic attraction resorts. And we can name tour guides with pathfinder, mentor, or leader. These are main important roles of tour guides. The tour guide is usually a local who leads visitors to touristic spaces and interprets the site visitors. In organized cultural tourism, the guide is accountable for a favorable holiday experience. The tour guide ensures the provision of multiple tourism services and coordinates different package tour components and services in a safe environment by acting on behalf of both the foreign outbound tour operator in the tourist generating country and domestic inbound tour operator at the touristic places. For being a tour guide, we have main two qualifications. Firstly, personal requirements. Secondly, educational training for a tour guide. Firstly, we can start with the education training for tour guide. In generally, if you want to be a tour guide, you have a license degree at least. Or, for example, maybe at least high school diploma can be required. But if you want to be qualified tour guide, you have more expertise area. For example, knowing archaeology, knowing city, museums, and etc. Very many things, I think. And also, you know at least 2 languages apart from your mother language. Secondly, personal requirements is also important. For example, you have capacity to walk for a long hours, or you have capacity to stand out for a very long time. And also you have excellent conversational skills, communication skills, you have good at storytelling, you should be personable, humorous, you have outstanding organizational skills, you manage time very well, you have very important improvisational skills. You are passionate about traveling. You are interesting at very unknown places. And you have ability to work during evenings, on weekend. Time is not important for you because people, when people are traveling, you should start because your job on when people are traveling. like this. And the other topic is the role of the tour guides in the travel industry. Guides have multitude options. They might want to work in museums, a castle, or incomparable objects. Alternatively, they can also work outdoors as a nature guide, archaeology guide, or city guide. In all these functions, guides are responsible for planning and organizing tours. Communication is their most important tool for ensuring a fantastic experience for their guests. It is important to be aware of cultural differences between visitors and and to know about possible sources of noise that might disturb the interaction with guests. Amusing visitors by telling interesting and funny stories and respond in a proactive way to their complaints and requests is very rewarding, I think. Always make sure that you have enough information and knowledge about the subject of your tour and ensure the safety and happiness of your guests. You don't say that I don't know to your members. Prepare well for a tour by taking care of appropriate clothing and gear. As a tour guide, you are not only responsible for your guests, but you also need to consider other stakeholders, for example, food and beverage management, for example, waiter, for example, dishwasher, and many people working in the tourism industry. You are responsible as a tour guide. Stakeholders are groups of people that are affected by your company or that might affect to tourism industry. It is important for the feature of your company that you are a responsible partner who cares about the environment of the business. A sustainable feature of the business without such an ethical attitude is not possible in end. This also means that you need to take care about nature and environment. Yes, as you see, there are some tour guiding education from countries. Tour guiding education can vary according to countries because some rules and governmental issues can be different. It is so normal. For example, in Turkey, we should graduate from a university level for being a tour guide, and we should know at least 2 foreign languages. And also, we should go around all the places in our Turkey that should have seen. And also, I can say that there are no formal educational requirements for tour guides, though most have at least a high school diploma. Training and certification programs are available from a variety of travel guide associations, such as the World Federation of Tour Guides. These training programs are typically run by current tour guides and cover such subjects as industry knowledge and tour itinerary design. Tour guides must also be knowledgeable in the area they will be covering also. Yes, what is the new normal for tour guiding education? Firstly, I can start with teachers started to change their learning methods during this time, working in Department of Tour Guiding, because we should more concerned related with area. We are responsible for the future of our students. Teachers started to produce innovative content to make education efficient during this time. Also, interactive applications started to be used. Students started to be followed with different applications. Since the students could not be followed up as in the classical classroom systems, the responsibility of students in the learning increased. So, learning responsibility outweighed the responsibility of teaching. Education has become impossible for students who do not have internet and computers, and students who do not have internet and computers are so much in Turkey. We should handle with this problem, I think. Tourism guidance is a department where practical training is given, and we are not ready to provide this training yet, because practical training should be given face-to-face, not virtual. At least the process showed us this, how can we handle with this? But I think I should also add that more virtual tourism career opportunities can be taught about this. Yes, there are some advantage of e-learning, and if we want to say that, it saves time, it reduces cost, it provides flexible learning, it provides spatial independence, it allows efficient learning, and it makes interactivity possible. By e-learning, you can do many of things, I think. And now we can mention about some trends for tour guiding education post-COVID-19, I think. Firstly, project-based learning is popular, so popular during this time. As careers are adapting to the future freelance economy, students of today will adapt to project-based learning and working. This means they have to learn how to apply their skills in shorter terms to a variety of situations, I think. During this time, I use many way related project-based learning, and I saw that this is a very fruitful learning types in our methods. Yes, exams will change completely as courseware platforms will assess students' capabilities at each step. Measuring their competencies through question and answer might become irrelevant or might not suffice. Educators worry that exams might not validly measure what students should be capable of when they enter their first job. As the factual knowledge of a student can be measured during their learning process, the application of their knowledge is best tested when they work on project in the field, I think. Mentoring will become more important. In 20 years, students will incorporate so much independence into their learning process that mentoring will become fundamental to students' success. I know in our education system around the world, there are many powerful mentor teachers, I think, and we need them so much during this time than before. Teachers will form a central point in the jungle of information that our students will be paving their way through. Though the future of education seems remote, and I think this system will continue for a time that I don't know when they will be finished. The teacher and educational institution are vital to academic performance. So we should, I think, continue like that. Another is specialized training in the tour guiding job. Because technology can facilitate more efficiency in certain domains, curricula will make room for skills that solely require human knowledge and face-to-face interaction. Thus, experience in the field will be emphasized within courses. Schools will provide more opportunities for students to obtain real-world skills that are representative to their jobs. This means that curricula will create more room for students to fulfill internship, mentoring, and collaboration projects. Producing some ideas and project is so difficult, I know, but we should more productful during this time. The world needs our struggling, I think.
Ma'am, we request you to please wind up. We have a few questions also in the chat box.
Okay, but I don't finish my presentation.
So, ma'am, if we can wind up in 5 minutes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, because we have more resource persons lined up.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I should answer what is the difference between tour guide, tour operator, tour agency, I think. These are different stakeholders in the tourism industry. Tour guide is a single person, works related with tour members that we name tourists in the cultural tour. Tour operator organize, for example, a package and cultural tour, and these are organized tour. And the tour agency is a small small firm than tour operator, but they have same functions. They organizes tours, they packaging holidays, they buy some services, for example, guiding services and etc. The main difference is tour operator and tour agency is a firm, a company. Tour leader is a person who organize and control and are leader of the tour. Okay, is there any question? I don't know any question apart from that.
Yeah, madam, I have one question.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Abhimanyu, and I am one of the participants from Jammu and Kashmir, India. Now, I was listening to your presentation, and it was really very beautiful, giving us the insight of tourism in your country. However, you mentioned that any tour guide, that person has to know 2 languages apart from his or her mother tongue. All right. So, what is the role of English as a language for the tour guide? Because English
Yes.
is a language which is globally very, not acceptable, but understandable.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, what is the role of English in tourism industry?
Okay, I understood. Sir, thanks for your question.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. I also thanks for your question. For example, there are some countries the main language isn't English. as I want to give an example, Turkey. In Turkey, we speak Turkish language. And for this reason, in our country, maybe I can say, for example, Egypt, and for example, what can I say apart from that, England, I think. We are not, the mother language is not English. So we know firstly English, but other we know language, for example, French, Arabic, Chinese, and etc. These are compulsory, but English, as you said, is the global language that should know everybody. I hope I can answer to your question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I got it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, another question is that?
Is there anyone who wants to ask a question, or we wind up with this session?
I think
Shall we conclude, or someone
Jagdish,
wants to ask a
hello.
question?
I think Jagdish Lal Sharma is the one of the participants who has raised the hand. If sir wants to ask anything, a raised hand is there of Jagdish Lal Sharma, sir. Sir, are you there? Maybe by mistake, I think then.
Yes, ma'am.
It was really wonderful, Dr. Baram. Your presentation was too pictorial and too good. And it really motivated us to go on a virtual tour due to the pandemic, because we are all missing, tours and expeditions, going along together. But this, I think this is a good trend in pandemic. If people are going on a virtual tour, at least they can kill that depression, or that frustration which they are having at homes. And that is the another way of, coming out and mingling up with the people all around the globe.
We continue with specialized training because technology can facilitate more efficiency in the certain domains. Curricula will make room for skills that solely require human knowledge and face-to-face interactions. Thus, experience in the field will be emphasized within courses. School will provide more opportunities for students to obtain real-world skills that are representative to their jobs. This means curricula will create more room for students to fulfill internship, mentoring, and collaboration projects. Gamification effects in education. Maybe you know that the importance of gamification is so popular. The gamification of education can enhance levels of students' engagement, similar to what games can do, and to improve their particular skills and optimize their learning. Gamification as a tour guide can create a positive impression on the minds of tourists also. Storytelling training, for example, the importance of storytelling as a tour guide is so popular. Entertainment is just a secondary tool. The art of storytelling is centuries old, used initially to pass on information from person to person. When we employ the technique in training, we are looking to capitalize both benefits, spreading knowledge to learners while holding their attention and engaging their interest. Tour guides is one of the best storyteller in our lives, I think. Now, feature skills for tour guiding education after pandemics also. Technology skills. In order to prepare ourselves for the future education, we must improve our technology skills. Technologies such as artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, the robotics will become solutions to the process in the future after pandemics. Afterwards, using technology tools well and working effectively will be great benefit when they are tour guide. Adaptability and flexibility. Many tourism businesses have changed after COVID-19 and have adapted to the process. Especially during this period, many tourist guides started online tours. Tour guide training should also train its students with the equipment that can adapt to the process. Innovation and creativity. Tour guide students need creativity and imagination to invent new tours, new tour groups and types of tourism, and new working methods and a new work order, I think. According to the World Economic Forum, 35% of skills required of today will change. In just 5 years, one of the issues that we understand better after a pandemic is lifelong learning. As the demand on tours for specialized tour guides with job skills will increase, guides who are good in their field and who have acquired new skills will easily find employment. The quarantine period is a great opportunity to acquire skills because we have many certificates via the internet. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is another skill required in any crisis that may occur after a pandemic. The accuracy of information, service, concepts, and resources is one of the most important concepts of today and future. Because there are unlimited information, services, and resources that are fake or reliable or not, tour guide, on the other hand, should have the skill to choose the most reliable source, I think. Yes, finally, we can make a roadmap for the tour guiding education. Firstly, self-regulation skills for students. Learning is about one's relation to oneself and the ability to apply effort, self-control, and critical self-evaluation, says Linda Linson. Candidates for tour guide must also be self-sufficient students. In this process, where they develop their self-efficiency skills, they will begin to create their own success stories. Adoption to virtual tour and digital tourism. Tour guides will organize virtual tours in the future. Robots will be their biggest helpers. That's why we need to teach students how to use technology. And the third one is collaboration with stakeholders and institutions. Tour guide is an intermediate role in the tourism system. It is in contact with many stakeholders and institutions. Therefore, it is necessary to teach these effective communication skills to students in the future, I think. Firstly, we can finish our presentation with an important quote. The most profound words will remain unread unless you can keep the learner engaged. You can see their eyes to know if they got it. So say it, show it, write it, dim it, and link it to an activity. Yes, thanks for your attention. I finish my presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am, once again.